All right, we're looking at Rotten Tomato reviews on Avatar. I don't even know what to call it. Avatar: Last Airbender. 59%? Ooh. Only 49 reviews? Yikes. I'm surprised. 59%. That's actually higher than I thought. I thought the show was really bad. It's got a 74% audience score. What the fuck is the audience smoking? All right. This show felt nowhere near to the original in any regard. Scenes often felt like they were shot once with no real direction and taken to the final product. The acting often felt stiff and uninvested. Yeah, that's true. Like the actors themselves didn't want to be there. I guess several times during the dialogue had me rolling. The only problem is like I feel like the Gen Z. I'm a Gen Z. I feel like a lot of the Gen Z actors are just like not uh that good in general. I mean, I don't know any personal Gen Z actors that are good. I mean, maybe they are, I don't know. Or maybe they're not Gen Z. I don't even know. Who knows? Sometimes dialogue had me rolling around. Grownable choices that made the main characters feed dialogue to the audience. Yeah, this, like literally the first 30 seconds of me watching episode one, the guy had to say that he was an earthbender. I was like, so they're taking the baby approach to storytelling. The choreography doesn't even come close to the original. Eh, I feel like if it's just good though, it's good. Maybe it's my TV, but it looked like the opening logo said The Last Airsender. I love how you look it up and all the fucking Shyamalan shit pops up still. Never mind. That looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I liked the artistic choice of the Shyamalan movie. It's very 2010s. Whoops. Truly, as a kid, watched it when it was an anime. Sure, it's an animation. Uh, Watched it when anime was a hit. Was hit. I loved it. Must say that they did manage to show some parts, but the acting was so bad, mixing stories, uh, so horrible. I lost interest in that 4 episodes. Yeah, I stopped after episode one. I didn't even finish episode one, and I just watched all the reviews online and what people thought, and they were either saying the show was not good, or they were saying that if people think that the show is not good, then you're a retard. They butchered the show completely. If you don't want to stick to the original story, don't do me. Create a brand new show with a different name. Uh, yeah, I mean, I understand that. I wouldn't be upset if they changed some things, like even if it's like even if they did a one-to-one retelling, or they did an adaptation of the retelling, I guess, for lack of a better word. I mean, as long as it's good, like I don't give a shit. If it's good, it's good. Like I feel like yeah, you can do whatever you want as long as it's good. But obviously they did whatever they wanted and it wasn't really that good. I feel like people are being a lot of really generous with the scores here. True to the original story, but lacking. The names of the characters are the same, and there's like 4 nations. True to the original story, sure. I mean, in the original story, Aang was just kind of wandering around trying to figure out a way to master waterbending, then get an earthbending teacher, and then like the war thing was kind of happening in the background, and then he realized he couldn't really avoid it, and then they had to come up with a plan to end the war later. In this one, like he just started off right off the bat, like, oh, we got to stop the war. All right, well now we got to find a teacher. I feel like they got that mixed up where like the adventure took place and the war was happening in the background and then the war started becoming more prominent as the series went on. But in this he just kind of was like, oh, gotta stop the war now. true to the original story but lacking. Very boring. The casting in terms of the appearance is very good. Only Sokka succeeds in the almost carbon copy. Yeah, I guess. I mean, he was like sarcastic, but he wasn't like funny. Like I don't know if it landed as well. Like he was just very sarcastic, but like in a depressing way. Like he could never just be like, he was just like not open. Like he was only sealed to like the Ember Islands level of dialogue of Sokka, where he's just like, "I'm starving," and then that's all you got. Um, yeah, they took the whole sexism thing. Like he can't be sexist. Like why? The cast is good, the effects are good, but overall it seems like they may be heading towards a pitfall. The similarity, so people are really being generous with these. I mean, like if you're saying like, to me, I feel like the effects can be, okay. The characters can, I feel like everything, like if you have a story, right, and the CGI isn't always going to be perfect, and it might look a little dingy here and there. Like the cartoon was like this. Like it wasn't perfect at all. Um, but it was good for what it did. And I feel like you can do kind of have like some shortcomings when developing it, but then it just doesn't matter as long as the overall telling of the show like lands very well, then that's really all that matters. But yeah, when I saw the characters of chemistry in BTS, when I saw the chemistry of actors in BTS, I don't understand. When I saw chemistry of characters in BTS, I was amazed, especially Gordon's behavior was exactly like Aang. BTS. Who's BTS? But poorly but poorly creators had different plans and feel the message of the original series. I know I'm extremely biased. I grew up with the original series and decided to rewatch it before I dove into this story-wise. It's very choppy. It missed the entire plot of the original. They mixed up a lot of events, taking books 2 and 3 and cramming them into the first one. Yeah, I did see some of that. The acting is generally terrible. Yeah, they're the kind of just like whatever actors. It's just I think Avatar is just best if it's just left alone. Stop trying to add on to the universe. I feel like the more you're adding on to this Avatar universe, it's like people are always going like and saying we just want more Avatar. And yeah, I mean that's fine. It still exists, but like people want like the consumer part of it, like people want more and more. But it's like to me, I rather have nothing rather than to taint like whatever memory I have. That's just me though. I rather have the original. Like just leave it alone. Like they already kind of was trying to ruin it in 2010. But I mean, it's never going to be ruined. Like the original is still there. But like I feel like the more attempts that keep trying to land and miss are just kind of like you're tainting it. Like when it was on top. Like it was on top. Just let it die on top. Amazing storyline, really great character development, some choppy acting at times, but the scenery, sets, and imagery and mesmerized special effects are fantastic. Love this. Can't wait for second season. Eh, awesome storyline. I mean, maybe they didn't. Maybe they're not Avatar fans. Maybe they just kind of watched it for a just a generic watch of a Netflix show, not for the originality, I guess. The original series has a very special place in my heart since the original creators left that through partway through the production. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that doesn't mean anything anymore because the original creators are the also ones who made The Legend of Korra, and I think The Legend of Korra was bad. I went to this with the idea I'd hate it, but I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. Ooh. While I didn't have all the charm of the original series, it was slow at some point, but the writing was mediocre, but the acting was flat. Jesus, is there anything good about it? The CGI, the set designs, and the world building and cast in the cast. So you care about CGI, you care about the look. The look is what made you give it a 3 star. I feel like these ratings are a little weird. Good effects, awful writing. It lacks the charm of the original. Dose, waste your time and just watch that one. Yeah, see, like me, I feel like I couldn't rate something like, oh, I'll give it a 3 star. Like it's not that bad. Like when it comes to video games, when it comes to movies or TV shows, something like that. Like if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. I'm not gonna waste my time, I feel like, watching a show that's like mediocre because I know there's probably a better one out there somewhere else. And plus, the original one still exists, and I'm not craving for a new one. So I feel like if it just doesn't catch me in that first minute, I'm not going to enjoy it, especially video games. Like if I'm playing a game and the game isn't enjoyable to me within like the first 5 minutes, like I'm just not going to like waste my time. I remember I put like 9 hours into Starfield and I was like waiting for the game to get good and it never did. And I'm like, all right, I feel like 9 hours is a pretty reasonable time to put into a video game for it to be fun. So I stopped. Now my time for playing has become shorter and that applies to everything. Like I feel like they ruined it for me within the first 30 seconds because I had literally had the guy say he's an earthbender. Like I feel like as a writer, making movies and TV shows and like anything media creating is like super hard because like you either hit it and miss or you hit it right on the head or you just like completely miss. Like it is so hard to encapsulate a vision and sometimes people don't even know what that vision is until it's been encapsulated. Like it's so hard to put your vision on paper or on a screen and have it be like have the perception of it like become something. Um, I don't think this show did it, especially for me. It has for a lot of other people, but I'm gonna be honest. Like you can like the show, but you really, really, really should up your standards for what it is you're consuming. Okay? I honestly think that like don't let yourself kind of be treated like you're dumb. Like if you really thought this show was amazing in every aspect, it's just like okay, it's a very baby like telling of the like it tried to be adult in certain aspects, but it tried to be like quirky at the same time. It was just it was very strange. Like it was trying to do this like whole adult thing of burning people, but then it also would like dumb me down like the dialogue for you to read or hear. I had subtitles on because I just like watching things in subtitles because it's like just after watching anime, I feel like I watch everything in subtitles now. Um, but yeah, like it's like weird because it does this like, oh well, we'll give it to you here, but won't give it to you here. I don't know. It's just not that good. Raise your standards a little bit. The anime is so much better. The anime is so much better. It's okay, like yeah, I guess it's an anime. Okay, like let's just anime is a hand-drawn and computer-generated animation originating from Japan. What? Wait, what? Inspired by a real-life shipwreck that happened in the early 1900s Antarctica? That's not what I was trying to look up. I was trying to see. I mean, Dan Martino and stuff like he's Italian. I think I don't even know. Like, Avatar's a cartoon. Actors are good. I would say they even awesome. The CGI is great. The script is poor. The changes are mostly detrimental. I loved the anime so much. I can't say I'm disappointed, but rather not entirely satisfied. Then you're like, you're not at all. You're not satisfied at all then. So why are you giving it a 2.5? Like if you're like, oh well, it was okay. Like let me be honest. Like you have your favorite food places, right? You're gonna go get your favorite food at that same favorite place all the time, and then you go to a different place, and it's like not as good. Are you gonna go back to that place? No. So it's like, all right, it's forgotten about. It's gone. Don't give it a. I don't even know what I'm fucking saying. Whatever. Don't listen to me. Just I feel like you're being generous with the 2.5 star. Great show, very entertaining, great effects and story. Sure. Here we go. Ready? Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Oh, because that was a great movie. Oh no. Don't listen to the present naysayers, right? Right. This adaptation was incredibly watchable. I made it through the first season thrice. Sorry. Fully invested and entertained. Well, Jesus. Like, a bottle of ketchup must be like fucking God coming down from the heavens for you then. This rendition brings Avatar into adulthood, right? While it did a good job at maintaining some of the silliness that ricocheted into Avatar into fandom, and incorporated more mature and violent action scenes and adult concepts that I appreciated. Some of the acting was a bit subpar, but nothing that I couldn't move past. Geez, you must let a lot of things move past you then, since you like, you have like Avatar is based off its characters. If you even believe for a second that the acting was subpar for some reason, then it's just not good. I think your standards are way too low, Severina. The script did the actors so dirty, but you gave it a fucking 3.5 star. Each line felt forced and was hard to watch. CGI was amazing though. So you think CGI, so King Blah, you think that CGI is more important than the characters? Like, so imagine you get rid of the characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender and put the Ember Island players on there instead. So what you're telling me is that the show would still be good in your eyes because maybe it's more visually appealing than the actual characters of the show. Avatar: The Last Bender, Davide, a Avatar: The Last Airbenders is a TV series full of love for the original material, and it clearly appears clearly. Yeah, I totally felt the love when I saw Aang flying through the air in the first episode when he doesn't fly because he has a glider because Airbenders don't fly. There are many changes compared to from the original series. Good changes introduced into the show. The most beautiful thing of the animated series that the characters and how they are pictured. In this live action adaptation, every main character is interesting and well showed. In general, the product is very good, and the trio Ang, Sokka, and Kintara works well, and many things are settled in the next seasons. Sure. Fantastic changes and some not so great changes throughout top to bottom. As such, it was difficult for me to get a firm grasp on what the show was trying to be or what message it was trying to convey. While forgiving missteps and all right, a mixed bag in my heart, not worth to watch another poor reputation for a wonderful cartoon. True. Trying hard but missing the mark. Yep. I feel like I'm surprised this is getting an audience score. I feel like I'm seeing a lot more negative comments. Um, the casting is horrendous. The accurate depictions are Suki, Iroh, and Sokka. I would say that Aang, but they only look slightly similar. The writing just feels like an attempt to cram as much information into the plot as much as possible. Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's perfect middle to me and way under quality of the original. So my advice is to directly watch the animated on one hand, and the remake is just beautiful landscapes and fights, but on the other hand, it loses a lot of stability because of the weak writing. 2.5 star. I mean, yeah, okay. I'll give you that. You're just trying to be like chill. Like that makes sense. All right, I understand. I don't speak Spanish. Why do some of the additions that they add? I do like some of the additions, but I do understand why some people would feel off about the adaptation and would prefer the original version instead. You give it a 4 star. I thought it was pretty awful. Many of the actors were terrible, especially poor Aang, who seemed to be emotionally stuck, equivalent to that scene from the Philosopher's Stone where Harry says, I can't be a wizard. Oh, yeah. In the part where the writer's doing where they had none. Yeah, like, I feel like, yeah, like, there was no character development for Aang. Like, he kind of just was like, all right, I'm good. I'm developed. And it's like, let's go grind to beat the main mission. Holy shit. All right, not reading it, sorry. An excellent remake of the original, and the VFX was insanely good, but certainly not better than the original. An excellent remake of the original, and VFX was insanely, but certainly not better than the original. Okay, but like, if you're you're comparing it to the original somewhat in your mind because you said it definitely wasn't better, but you're still giving it a 4.5 star. So you're saying that the show is in a 4.5 star equivalent to a 5 star show. I mean, if in my opinion, I feel like this is a 2 star restaurant that's trying to say that it's a five. Or actually, I give it a 1 star. I didn't watch episode two, because I just couldn't go get through episode one. Excellent series. VFX was on point, and the story was entertaining. Scenes were epic. Can't wait for season two. Sure. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Well, you gave it a 3.5 star. This live action adaptation faces an uphill climb, having to respect the original anime. Isn't it's not an anime, it's a cartoon. And bring a live action cast better than the last film from 2010. I wouldn't even compare it to. Why are people comparing it to the last? I wouldn't even compare it to the last film because now you're just like diluting the pool of like Avatar lore. You're like, oh, the last film was canon, so now I have to. The last film was canon, so now I have to compare the new stuff to the film. Why? I'm not a fan of making live actions when you run out of ideas, but in this case, same as you, they tried to recreate the original anime series. The reason why, but you gave it a 3 star. I am not a fan of this idea of making live actions when you run out of ideas. This is the same case as usually as they tried to recreate the original animated series, but there is a reason why original is not live action. This is why. But you gave it a 3 star. Again, I feel like this is kind of a waste, unnecessary, but still fun enough. Yeah, but if it's like unnecessary, what's the point? Why are we wasting time? Why are you wasting your own time? Unnecessary but still fun, and you gave it a 3 star. I mean, unnecessary but still fun. It's like, okay, like that's like going to sleep with 20 different women for just because I want to have sex. And it's just like, well, it's completely unnecessary, but it's still fun. 3 stars. Joyless, hokey, ponderous, distant, man, kids deserve better than this exposition happy VFX paradise. True. You gave it a 1.5 star, though. You know you can rate lower. I've never seen this anime. What? Why are they calling it an anime? It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon that came out on fucking Nickelodeon. I don't understand. Why do people keep calling it an anime? It's not an anime. Did the original idea of Avatar: The Last Airbender originate from Japan? Did Avatar the Last? All right. Who invented Avatar the Last Airbender? Like, I know there are three people. It's Dan and fucking Brian and whatever. But let's look up Brian. It's an American animated fantasy action. It's an American animated fantasy action television series. It's not an anime. It's a cartoon. There's a difference. It's just like saying fucking Powerpuff Girls and fucking I had another show in my mind. My Teenage Robot, Kim Possible, fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, um, fucking what the fuck? I have a show in my mind like Ben 10 are all fucking animes. They're cartoons. It's not anime. Anime is Japanese. You can make an American-made anime, I'm sure, but like didn't I just look up that the original idea was it's an anime is animation. I know that's what it means, but originating from Japan, outside Japan in English, refers to a produced in Japan. However, Japanese is a term perhaps shortening is short for animation. Yeah, but it's just I like I okay, I understand. I don't think Avatar is an anime. Like I feel like that word doesn't describe Avatar. Like it's a cartoon. It's a kid's cartoon. It's like it's not an anime. I find the show really entertaining. Maybe the anime is better. What the fuck? That's the issue with today's remakes. People who have seen the original will always complain that it's not exact same as they remember. They don't take the time to see if the show is actually good or not. They just play the game and find the differences. Yeah, I mean, like, so I remember when I played Halo 3 for the first time and then Reach, I'm like, wow, these games are really fucking good. And then I played Halo 4 and 5, and I'm like, these games are not really fucking good compared to the previous ones that were made. Uh, like if it's just not good, it's not good. I don't think I mean, yeah, like of course we're comparing it. I don't understand. People have seen the original, will always complain if it's not exactly the same as they remember. No, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it's not exactly as good, and it's not exactly anywhere near better. Like you rated this show a 4 out of 5, a 4.5 out of 5. So you're telling me that movies and like TV shows that like fucking early seasons of Game of Thrones are at the same level of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mind you, I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I never heard any complaints about the early on about that show. There's a and like that's just like so you're saying that this live action remake is just as good as that? I don't think so. This is not it's not a five like people are being way too generous. Like you're giving it a 5 star. Do you understand what 5 star is? You're like I think the equivalent of like you're getting a filet mignon or the idea of a filet mignon and you're getting it cooked in a regular and you're getting it cooked inside a microwave versus you're getting it cooked at a 5 star restaurant and you're not really getting that 5 star restaurant product, but you're still consuming the idea of what it would could be I don't know what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say is that you're rating the show a 5 star, a 4.5 star. Do you know like how hard it is to like I feel like that's just a rating based on complete and total just like thumbs up everything, because if you have that mentality where you just everything's good all the time, then it's probably not good all the time. Like if you think everything about this show is a 110% good all the time, then you're sadly mistaken because it's just not good. You're not critiquing the show, and like obviously nobody is like people. It's very strange to me how people can give it a complete 5 star and then someone can just completely give it a half star. Like I feel like there are a lot of things in the human world where we can just agree on things and be like, yeah, dude, this fucking sucks. But it's funny to me how there are actually people who are just like it's either 1 star or it's fucking near perfect. It's like wild. A good adaptation and great memories from the past really reminded me about the small messages. The story of Aang told again, emotion shoulder and real. Poorly written, the dialogue is ridiculous. Quality of CGI varies way too much, not even close to the level of One Piece, the current benchmark for flat adaptation. Yeah, I heard One Piece. Yeah, exactly. I heard one. I don't even know. I don't watch anything One Piece. Um, because I don't have like a crap ton of time on my hands. But maybe I will. I don't know. I heard that did really fucking good. But obviously that's like the setting the benchmark for the modern adaptations that show, and apparently that was good, and a lot of people think that it's just as good, which is a complete fucking fumble. I have to admit I have not watched the cartoon. Thank you for being polite. This show was so much fun. I had just finished it and can't wait to rewatch it. It's a masterpiece. Yikes. All right, you had me and you lost me. Just like storytelling. You had me for a second and then you said something dumb and you completely lost me. Oh, you said no. See what I'm saying? It's a masterpiece, no, but is it fun? Cool, has lots of young and promising actors. If you start watching and expecting this to be exactly like the cartoon, drawing counterparts, you will probably be disappointed. If you watch with an open mind, you'll probably enjoy it. I mean, like, yeah, sure. Like if I'm getting raped by somebody, it's like, well, it's only sex. So if I keep an open mind about it, I'm not like, yeah, I could be getting raped, but it's like, I'm getting fucked in my ass, and if you're gay, you might like that. So, I maybe if you just keep an open mind about it, everything's actually pretty cool. Um, I'll give you a pass because you didn't watch the cartoon and you're just watching it from like the perspective of watching something new. And to be honest, if I watched it without watching the cartoon, maybe I would have rated it a little higher. But I think bad storytelling is just bad storytelling. I don't think it would have been anywhere near as close to the original, even if I haven't watched the original. Like, it wouldn't have changed my life. A lot of story changes that will make things in the future episodes impossible, some being very key points. Aang doesn't waterbend in the waterbending chapter. Yeah, I heard about that. So, like, the whole reason on him going to the Northern Water Tribe was to find a waterbending teacher, because in the show is so fixated on we have to stop the war. So we get to learn waterbending now. Removed very important aspects that made the show great. I will commend the look of the show. It looks great. I really wanted to see. Yeah, I thought it looked really good, but I don't think looks matter if like you just like if it what on like okay, like say you got like 6 inches of makeup on, that's great. But if you're just a shitty person on the inside, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Like so visuals to me are important, but they're kind of something that like helps encapsulate the universe, but it's not something that dictates like the actual final say of the universe. Like I feel like an important thing about the universe are the characters that are in it. Because you can put a character in any setting, and as long as the characters are somewhat good, I feel like they can do good with what's around them. But I don't think like the effects are enough to sell me on it. Solid show if it didn't have its own baggage to live up to the original, which it could never do. Well, why? Why would you like? Why like? See, I don't think there are rules to storytelling. I think you can tell whatever story you want to tell, but the reality of it is it's not going to land every time. It might not land at all. You can probably make movies and stories your entire life, and nobody's going to care about them. Like that's kind of it's hard being a creator and making movies and TV shows and stuff like that because if you're like I said, if you're missing that mark and you're not hitting it, then it's just not like that's it. Um, you know, you're not hitting it, and then it's like we did all this work for kind of nothing. It's like fucking who's that famous painter? Not fucking Picasso. The one that was in the Doctor Who episode because I'm too much of an idiot because I don't know anything about modern art or just art in general. The one who went all fucking nuts and the one who did Starry Night, Van Gogh. Yeah, nobody gave a fuck about him until he died. So you could just live your whole life making these stories and plots and everything, and nobody's going to give a fuck about them. Maybe until you die, or maybe never. They're just going to get lost in the abyss. So yeah, I mean, like, it could never do. I mean, why not? Like, why would you limit your mind to it could never do better than the original? Because, like, here's the thing. Here's the voters on this show. So you have the original Avatar fans that wanted just a good adaptation of the story. Like, let's get this shit on the live screen. Like, first of all, I don't think a lot of people were even really asking for this. I mean, maybe there were a lot of people that were. I wasn't asking for it. It just didn't matter to me. But there probably were a lot of people that were asking for it, and then there were probably a lot of people that weren't. So it's like, okay, first of all, the bar probably isn't set stupid high because it's just kind of a make the show for the show's sake of making another show to put on Netflix to make more money. But I mean, like, okay, so you have Avatar fans that like the originality aspect. You like the people that will consume, like, there are the people that will consume anything that they put out as long as it's more Avatar. Like, they could have totally made a one for one retelling that would have been fucking awesome and it probably wouldn't have been as good as the original, but it could have been maybe if they did something to make it better. Obviously, if you can make something better, then you can make it better. Uh, and it would have been awesome. And both sides would have liked it. But it's like they purposely almost kind of made a show that would make original Avatar fans, in a sense, upset about it, and then made the show for the consumers who will just constantly consume the show no matter what because it's just more Avatar content. Like I feel like you just kind of had like these people will consume anything you put in their face, but for some reason, uh, like you made it for the opposite side of the spectrum. I'm not you honestly you were given the winning formula. Like the Krabby Patty secret formula was in your hand, and you didn't make the burger. I don't. A lot of story changes. Aang doesn't want to. Yeah, love it. Please do more. Like kind of like this. It's just like yeah, you love it. Like 5 star. Fuck it. Like you probably think that fucking eating fucking bull testicles tastes great too. Like I don't know. Just a huge letdown. Extremely poor character development. The overall plot has no weight behind it. They took no time to develop any meaning behind the plot or characters. Just 5 minutes of small bits. Hey, remember this character from the original anime? It's a cartoon. Yes, it's an anime technically, I guess, but it's an animation. But it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. I called it a cartoon growing up. I didn't call it an anime. Good adaptation and some new ideas from the original. The casting was spot on. The acting could be better. I don't mind that they changed some scenes from the original. I wasn't expecting to be 100% matched anyway. Well, you gave it a 4.5 star for subpar acting. I don't know. I guess they're not important as much as you seem. Just get rid of them then. Get rid of the actors and just put stick figures in place. That I mean, because obviously the acting doesn't mean anything. People giving this a 1 star are just salty. It's not exactly like the cartoon version, but it's actually made and fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, like you could say that I'm salty, or you can say that it's just shit. Like I'm trying to hold something that's very important to a lot of people to a higher quality. I don't see anything wrong with that. The dialogue really holds back this along with the pacing, trying to jam in so many storylines in a few episodes. Yeah, true. If you completely somehow mentally separate this from the adaptation, this adaptation, then yeah, if you completely somehow mentally separate this adaptation from the widely critical acclaim source, it's still a bit trash. I think a bit is a lack of a better term, but it's just trash. The acting is weak, the benders are uninspired, the VFX looks good because most of them are just at night or in fog. Oh yeah, that's fucking true. I saw a whole video on that too. Like they couldn't do certain bendings in certain places because it would just look funny. The chemistry is terrible. The writing is just a yapathon. Yeah, I mean completely. Like cuz how like I love it when people go, "Well, if you just look at it with an open mind, it's like bruh, we have been domesticated. We have been pre-programmed through growing up to watch this show because the show was given to us. Like we didn't ask for it. This show was like, oh, this we have this new concept for a show. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then now you're trying to make another show based off of that show, the original show, mind you, and saying, well, just forget about the original one and just think of this as its own entity. You should do that. And I'm gonna keep bringing up like girls and relationships and stuff because I feel like that is such a good example for some reason. So say a girl breaks up with you, right? And because she cheated on you. Well, you should go out with the same type of girl because you know because you should go into every relationship with an open mind, not to be scared that you could be cheated on again, which could totally 100% happen. And then and then all of a sudden you get cheated on like 5 times and you're like, well, I'm just going to keep doing it again. And yeah, and then there you go. You just kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. Let's look at that with an open mind, and people are going to be like, "Oh no, you can't." I don't even want to speak on people's behalf. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but like, I feel like just trash, man. I don't know what people. I don't know. Don't even listen to me. I only got through the first episode before we just moved back into the original show. There's no charm, humor. This adaptation just feels empty. Yeah, it does. The animated show was perfect with great characters. Live action is boring with one dimension. True. True. Why can't we leave well enough? Why can't we leave well enough alone? Avatar was great the way it was and doesn't deserve a new angle. Yes, exactly. I completely 110% agree. Like, why do it's like, well, we have to make progress. We have to make things better. I remember I worked with this one guy named Gary, and he was a fucking huge Star Wars fan, and he was such a big Star Wars fan that he used to have girls cosplay as Princess Leia while he was fucking them in his bedroom. So he was building a fucking like he has like everything, like the fucking Lego Death Star and everything. He has like custom made lightsabers. This guy's fucking wild with Star Wars. And the fucking new movies were absolute ass. And he's just like I'm like, dude, the fucking new Star Wars movies suck dick. He's like, well, I'd rather have that than no Star Wars. It's like, well, let me stop you right there. No, I completely disagree. Why the fuck would you want something that's not that good? It's just, if it's not good, why would you want it? Well, because it's more Star Wars. Okay, but why? Just because it's more Star, like, are you that addicted to the Star Wars cope that like you need to have Star Wars in your life? No. Why would you want that? Just find something else. Get another hobby. Go do something else. If you are you that addicted to you need to keep this in your life? But just fucking crazy. I don't understand. And it's like kind of the same thing that's going on here. Like people are like, well, it's more Avatar. It's like, okay, yeah, it's more Avatar, but like just leave it alone. Make a different type of Avatar. Stop trying to milk the same idea. It was done perfectly once. Leave it alone. That's like if a new writer tried taking all the Harry Potter books and movies and tried making another version of Harry Potter. Or like it was already good before. Stop trying to make more things. Why can't we leave well enough alone? Avatar was great just the way it was and doesn't need a new angle and definitely doesn't need a name pronunciation changes. Oops, that was the movie. No, stick with the source material. Keep it canon. Then add it to like when Azula started slinging blue fire and lightning. I really liked a bit of the prequel at the beginning when things got twisted. Oh my god, I don't understand. If you separate it from the original cartoon, well, that doesn't exist. Overall, it was enjoyable. Well, okay, I don't want to say it doesn't exist because I will be open-minded about your comment. But for you to just say, "Well, just separate it." Okay, well, like just get rid of it. Like pretend like what's with all this pretending? Why are we like in like people don't think it's pretending. People think that it's you're separating it from the original cartoon. It's based off of the original fucking cartoon. Like, what if they came out with fucking another movie of Pearl Harbor, but instead they were using fucking modern day jets, and they had characters that were aliens that were being bombed on Pearl Harbor instead of Americans. Okay, well, here's the thing. But they're still calling it the attack on Pearl Harbor. And they're like, no, this is an adaptation of what I think Pearl Harbor should have been like. It's like, are you fucking deranged? Like, at that point, just make a movie about aliens bombing a fucking place that looks similar to Pearl Harbor, but it's not Pearl Harbor. Like, just make a new idea. Why are you telling me to separate it from the original cartoon? It's fucking based off. It's based off the original cartoon. Why? Like they did that with the new fucking Dodge Charger, right? And the Mustang Mach E. Like the new Mustang Mach E like is terrible and there's only so many people that buy it. No actual like Mustang lovers bought this car. They used the Mustang name as a platform to launch so people would be more interested in buying the said car. Okay, well like try it's doing its damnedest to make the cars like Mustangs give them a bad rap. And they did the same thing for the Dodge Charger, and nobody likes it. It's terrible. And the people who say they like it are just saying that the reason why the people who say that they don't like it are just fucking hypocritical dumbasses. And it's not being hypocritical. Like you can clearly tell if something sucks or something is good. Like this show clearly sucks. I don't understand. Overall, it was very enjoyable. It gave off old time Disney vibes. Okay, like so here's again, I don't want to fucking make some type of an argument off of this, but at the same time, I kind of am, and I don't want to. Like, it's giving off old time Disney vibes. Like, if you're not if you didn't watch Avatar before, okay, fine, you have a pass. Because if it's new to you, that's completely fine. But it's like it's a Nickelodeon show that you're saying was giving off Disney vibes, and that's good. Like, I don't. Why would that be good? Because that means that like you'll just go watch Disney stuff. Like I don't know. Friends and family, good values, protecting each other, defending good, visual appeal in the story to drag along and get rushed. But you gave it a 5 star, so obviously the story doesn't matter to you. Like it's funny because all the people who are giving it 4 or 5 stars are like, well, it was great, except, but then they're like, yeah, it's 5 stars. Stop it. Original's still better. You're generous. Give it a 1. entertaining, visually acceptable, has potential, needs to dig deeper on the character development though. Yeah, and you gave it a 3.5 star. Mission accomplished, well done. Keep it up. And you gave it a 4 star. Like, see, you didn't even commit. You just gave it a 4 star. Please, completely rushed. It's like, okay, stop right there. 1 star. You're giving it a 2.5. Like, I thought it was pretty good. I tried to give it 5 stars. Why couldn't you? Season one is promising start, both flaws, a lot of my heart. Too long. That was really bad. It loses all the magic the original show tries to explain the rewatching. I had hoped the show would show me some of my favorite scenes that don't watch anime. Who is saying that this is an anime? Why is Avatar the Last? I've never heard this before. Why is Avatar the Last Airbender the cartoon being referred to as an anime? Is it an anime now? Am I missing something? I remember growing. It was a cartoon. It was a fucking cartoon. Like Teen Titans is a cartoon. Is that an anime now? Like, are we calling it anime? Like, I thought anime was only like to a specific type of animation style. So is fucking Monsters Inc. an anime? Because it's an animated, it's a digitally animated show or TV movie. I don't understand what's the limit here. I thought so. You're telling me that fucking all of the fucking Tom and Jerry is an anime? I'm sorry to say that it's bit better than the movie, but far faithful adaptation. They try to push a lot of the episode. Yeah, they did. Many things in the show were wonderful. The sets, the music, the costume, the bending scenes, a lot, and a lot of the acting was wonderful. This was definitely better than the movie, but still struggled. How bad the acting was. Obviously, I kept trying to introduce drama where it wasn't needed. Aang was way too serious all the time and wasn't as playful as itself at all. Sokka was dull and not even remotely humorous. Iroh was never charming or confident. Very poor representations of characters we love, like the anime. What the fuck? The start was a bit rough, but the potential I hooked again, just like the anime. Is who my I'm surprised that the critics even thought it wasn't. For once, I am shocked that even the critics are a little smarter than the audience for once, which is different. It's undeniable that Netflix adaptation is a reminder of how much we miss the world of Avatar. It's still so much fun. There is so much to learn. The messages. The result is charming, but the imperfect adaptation that vastly improves on but it never soars as high as the original animated show. Okay, fair. The Netflix adaptation is far from disaster, but it doesn't master the elements that made the original so good. True. If it earns the audience's patience, that's due to no part to Gordon Carver's convincing embodiment of Aang. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really that convincing considering the script he was given. A 12-year-old boy burdened with guarding the world's elemental balance. Guarding the world's elemental balance. Well, he's not guarding the world. He's just a kid, first of all. And yeah, he's just a kid. Was Aang 12? I don't even think he was 12. I think he was like 11 or 10. Or maybe he was 12. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, the whole point of the original was that Aang was not guarding the world. He wasn't guarding anybody. He ran away from his responsibilities from being the Avatar. He didn't go cool off so he could come and think about it with a better mind. He was legit running away from his responsibility that was forced, that he didn't want because he just wanted to grow up normal because he was afraid that he would be sent away. And then he got caught in the iceberg, and then he met Katara and Sokka, and then he wanted to, not wanted, they naturally had an idea that they had to go to the Northern Water Tribe because they said, well, we don't know what to do. Well, what is the Avatar supposed to do? Well, the Avatar is supposed to learn the four elements. Okay, well, which ones does he have to learn? Well, he has to learn waterbending first. Well, I guess we're going to the North Pole, and hey, while we're at it, let's get Katara a teacher too. And then it's like the story kind of unfolds from there. It's like the story is kind of going as time goes on. Like, I don't know if there was really a clear direction. It's like they weren't intentionally trying to stop the war. Like, yeah, and that like they didn't get like Sozin's comet wasn't an idea in Aang's head yet. Like it was just like, well, Sozin's comet arrives, dude. And the end, Soroku's like, when Sozin's comet arrives at summer's end, the world will cease to exist. Like, let's look at yeah, Sozin's comet, Roku.
100 years ago, Fire Lord Sozin used that comet to begin the war. He and his firebending army harnessed its incredible power and dealt a deadly first strike against the other nations. Sozin's comet will return by the end of this summer, and Fire Lord Ozai will use its power to finish the war once and for all. Aang, you must defeat the Fire Lord before the comet arrives.
But I haven't even started learning waterbending, not to mention earth and fire.
Mastering the elements takes years of discipline and practice. But if the world is to survive, you must do it by summer's end.
And this wasn't all in the first episode. So they tried cramming that in episode 1. This was like, what was episode was this, like 5? This was like episodes in when the objective wasn't even implanted in his head yet. This version, on the other hand, is weighed down by the stiff-acting, slow-pacing robotic dialogue, touch-and-go CGI, more exposition than an army of earthbenders can handle. True, cheesy acting, some Disney Channel-like dialogue could have been resounding epic adventuring turned into a whimpering thud. True. Flaws aside, it's difficult to discount Avatar outright, even when the series feels like a scattershot. Remains tremendous flex on it. Flex feels like a tremendous flex of an adaptation. Avatar also tries desperately to rework its stories that have pacing, offer blah 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 blah. Remember when Roku was explaining the Avatar state?
The Avatar state is a defense mechanism designed to empower you with the skills and knowledge of all the past avatars. The glow is the combination of all your past lives, focusing their energy through your body. In the Avatar state, you are at your most powerful. But you are also at your most vulnerable.
What do you mean?
If you are killed in the Avatar state, the reincarnation cycle will be broken, and the Avatar will cease to exist.
Clear, directive dialogue that doesn't sound like it's baby stuff being told to us. Done visually perfect. The drawing was very simple. It wasn't anything overly complex. The way it was stated, how Avatar Roku said it, his voice actor was extremely good. Avatar Roku as a character was extremely cool, and just the way it was explained was like, damn. So like in the live action you get, he's an earthbender. Look, he's throwing rocks. And it kind of just comes off as just like really dumb, like, yeah, like this clunky Disney Channel dialogue. And it just doesn't flow well. This is the only time where it's like they told and they showed at the same time. And it like was done in a really cool way. So is there explaining the Avatar state Netflix action? Is there like a who did anyone tell um did anyone tell Jesus, everyone is like going wild. Yeah, this was cool. Did anyone explain in the live action? I know Kyoshi, they replaced Roku with Kyoshi. I guess we can't legally have scenes. I don't know. Oh, this was funny.
Sweeten up your Easter with the strawberry pretzel slab pie recipe from stopandshop.com.
Nice.
Smudges on a first date? Not a good look. Need a whole body deo that doesn't leave white marks?
I remember when
Get
YouTube
native.
had one ad.
Please, you
I
have to
remember when it had no
reconsider.
ads.
You have the power to end this all peacefully. Can't we talk it out?
Yeah, sure. All right.
Really?
Yes, let's talk it through.
Oh, I didn't expect you to be willing to talk.
I mean, yeah, no one's ever asked before.
Oh, huh. Not even once?
Not even once.
Huh.
You can't hope to beat me, Avatar. Not with the power of Sozin's comet enhancing me.
Sozin's comet enhances my firebending too, though.
Well, be that as it may, I know you can't access the Avatar state. Without that crutch, you stand no chance of beating me.
Unless I get poked in the back.
Rule.
What?
If I get poked in the back, then I'll
It'll
be able
come
to enter
back.
the Avatar state.
Why even bother learning how to access it at will if you have an on-off button on your back?
Hill's time over a weekend.
You may have access to the Avatar state through your Avatar button, but you can't hope to control it. Now that you've arbitrarily decided you don't kill people, after literal months of burying people under avalanches,
Rule.
capsizing ships with
Rule.
huge waves, or stranding people in the middle of a desert,
He didn't
you
strand him,
can't
did he?
use the Avatar state without compromising your principles. Principles so dumb even the other avatars called you out on
Rule.
them.
Unless I just suddenly control my Avatar state if I decide to. By the
Rule.
way, how did you know about that last part with my past
I
lives?
just suddenly decided I have mind reading.
That was never mentioned before.
See, it's dumb when other people do that, isn't it? Like, hypothetically, if a guru told you you'd never be able to unlock the Avatar state because of your earthly attachments. But apparently a rock poking you in the back overcomes this issue.
A rock is part of the earth.
That's dumb.
Your face is dumb.
Nonetheless, you can't hope to beat me without killing me, and that deeply held principle which you came up with last week will be the death of you.
Nope. I slept walked onto the solution earlier.
You
Rule.
slept-walked
Just found a lion
onto the
turtle.
solution.
Yeah, I slept walked onto a lion turtle.
The
and he
hell
taught
is a
me
lion turtle?
It's a lion turtle. It was seen in a library one time.
Library? One time?
And he taught me energy bending, which lets me give or take away bending.
I assume there must be a massive cost to this completely random, never-before-mentioned Turtle Ex Machina.
I'm sure it'll be explained eventually, but no. He vaguely said that bad things would happen if I didn't focus properly or something, but it was mentioned in passing. So realistically, we all know I'll be A-okay.
Then I'll just lightning you to death!
I'll just deflect it.
What? Did you meet a snake crab which taught you how to make shields which block all attacks?
Nah, Zuko taught me how to do it. And he learned it from Iroh, who developed it by studying the way waterbenders manipulate chi.
That
Actually, it makes sense.
Well, fine. Good job.
So, are you ready to fight now? Or can we end this peacefully?
Yeah, I'm done. I very clearly don't have a chance against a guy who has apparently mastered plot bending. Good luck getting the nations to live in harmony again. I'm done.
Oh,
Chihiro, the
yeah, I'm done too.